The United Nations says it remains ready to assist in mediation if all political sides in the DRC request such an intervention. The global organization's remarks come amidst regional calls for a negotiated settlement that could lead to a government of national unity or a possible recount at the discretion of national authorities in the country. The electoral authority in the DRC earlier announced Felix Tshisekedi as the provisional winner of the presidential election, but runner-up Martin Fayulu has challenged the outcome in the country's constitutional court.
Its organ on politics, defence and security has since clarified earlier statements calling for a ballot recount, now focusing its efforts on reaching a negotiated settlement through dialogue and inclusiveness.
What do you make of those pronouncements?
We asked the UN to weigh in.
It's not for me to comment on what SADC says. We continue, obviously, to follow the discussions, the developments closely. We are in touch on the ground with all the relevant stakeholders. I think what is important is that the constitutional process follows its way. We've seen the latest developments on that end. It is also important that everybody remains calm, and we will continue to follow and support what is a Congolese own process in whatever way we can.
Does the UN, though, foresee any role for itself, for the organization, its good officers, in possible mediation talks between the political parties in that country?
As always, the UN remains available for good officers should all sides request it, and that's valid for any situation.
Zambia's President Edgar Lungu chairs that SADC organ and has since called for the DRC's political parties to engage in dialogue while recognizing the legal processes underway as provided by the Constitution. His latest statement says any conditions for a recount should be left to the sovereign internal procedures of the DRC. This new language has the backing of South Africa's Department of International Relations, that while earlier appearing to support a government of national unity as a possible outcome, now says it will not preempt the internal process underway in the DRC. Their statement Monday says South Africa will therefore not prescribe a form of government or presuppose the outcome of the electoral process. This from Friday's Security Council meeting.
The coming days are therefore critical to the conclusion of this historic electoral process. I continue to discharge my good offices, engaging with all Congolese stakeholders to reinforce the need for calm and recourse to establish judicial procedures, and to emphasize that a supreme sense of responsibility must prevail through the days ahead.
The DRC's Catholic Church has raised concerns about the accuracy of the announced vote count, while the country's constitutional court is expected to rule on Fayulu's challenge in the days ahead. Shervin Brycepe's SABC News, New York.